Here we go, the World Pool Masters about to get underway.
It doesn't get any better than this.
What a turn of events. There it is.
What a performance.
This is turning into a high-quality contest.
We are down to the last 8 in the Party Poker World Pool Masters. The opening round produced its fair share of shocks, surprises, drama, and world-class 9-ball. The opening round saw the defending champion fall at the first hurdle.
An explosive start. Niels Feijen has fallen victim to a surprising Italian job.
Another world champion lost out in the early stages.
Southern Europe on a high at the start of this Party Poker World Pool Masters.
The English started off with a hefty quota of homegrown talent, but one of their finest lost out to Alex Pagulayan.
The Killer Pixie is through.
Chris Melling kept the home crowd happy, as did Carl Boyes and Mark Gray. What it all means in terms of the quarterfinals is a rather unexpected look to the players who make up our last 8. Italian Daniele Corrieri will play Karol Skowerski, and Nikos Economopoulos will take on Alex Pagulayan. There's the mouth-watering clash between Melling and Boyes to contemplate, while Shane Van Boning will play Mark Gray. One Englishman guaranteed in the semis, but on the form so far very little is certain. The focus now shifts to the opening match in the quarters and the clash of a former champion, Karol Skowerski, and the man who so impressively knocked out the defending champion in 2014, Daniele Corrieri.
I'm not thinking about the first round win, just focusing on playing Karol Skowerski. I've played him and lost and won, but he is the strongest player from Poland.
The 2012 champion defeated Wang Can in the opening round with valuable lessons learned along the way.
I learned something about the breaks. I made full power and it worked, so in the next match I will break just like that. Daniele Corrieri from Italy is a very good player. Last year I remember he reached twice to the final of Euro Tour ranking events. He's a very good player. I played twice in the past with him. It's draw 1-1. It was very close matches.
The Italian, having won the lag, scratched off the break in the opening rack, allowing his Polish opponent the perfect opportunity to step in and clear and settle those opening nerves. The debate on the value of the break fueled by this opening exchange and further debated when Skowerski came up dry in the second. Corrieri was presented with a perfect layout, but the Italian looked out of touch with a poor shot on the 5, leaving a potential combination. Skowerski failed to take the opportunity, and the Italian could settle his own nerves by taking the second to level the score.
Corrieri coming off a brilliant upset of the defending champion, Holland's Niels Feijen.
Also from Rome, Italy, another couple of very good pool players, Bruno Moratori and Fabio Petroni. Petroni has played for the European Mosconi Cup team in the past. There, though, Corrieri was hoping the blue 2-ball would fall, and he just couldn't quite squeeze it in. think it's fair to say these two are pretty evenly matched. Clearly, in terms of experience in this particular tournament, Skowerski has the edge. Their personal best, though, in Euro Tours, exactly the same. They have been in finals of Euro Tour events, but never a winner. Skowerski, in the last 12 months, has been runner-up in the Italian Open. Corrieri twice a finalist in Euro Tour events.
But in their first matches, Corrieri played a much better match against Niels Feijen than Skowerski did against Wang Can.
Just a shade of doubt in the mind when the cue ball started to zip back. Skowerski was a little bit concerned he might have overscrewed it. A little bit worried that it might end up behind the black 8 ball. Had no need to worry, as it turned out. And now the simplest of pots on 8 and 9. And his lead should be restored.
Well, just as he was about to shoot, Daniele Corrieri's cue stick fell out of his hand and hit the ground. That was purely by accident. So Skowerski now leads 2-1. One of the top players in Poland, and they run a great program over there. And it's funded by the government. There you see. Nickname Scour. He beat Wang Can 8-5, but it was a struggle. And in countries like England, where pool does not receive any funding, pool players are on their own, but in Poland, they get that state support. And the sport is thriving in Poland. You know, a player like Skowerski will get a salary so he can practice every day. This is his job. Now in Italy, a player like Corrieri, he'll be on his own. They're not getting any state support in Italy. And usually, Phil, I mean, we see the players like from Qatar, the Dutch, the Chinese, when they get that support, it takes so much pressure off them because they don't have to worry about where their next meal's coming from. They get the support from the government, and they just thrive.
Jumping to the one here.
Well, he should have made that. He got lucky, made the 2, but no shot on the 1.
Yeah, so in terms of state support, it's pretty much like the postcode lottery. Where you're from makes a big difference as to how your career will go. Did not want the double kiss. This is not an easy pot on the 1 by any means, but it's there. The gauntlet has been thrown down inadvertently. You can't fault Skowerski's logic here, taking the time extension. It's one of those shots that could open the door to the entire rack.
Well, that's well done. Did he get position on that 3?
Well, in terms of potting it into the same pocket as the 1 ball went into, no. The 6 is blocking that. He's now looking at the 3-9 combination.
Wow. There are safety options. Is he really? Well, the 3 and the 9 are lined up. Look at that.
It's been a tournament where we've seen an awful lot of combinations. That was one of the best of them. His Polish companions loving it. Karol Skowerski leads 3-1.
That was a makeable jump shot. That left the rack open. This was not an easy 1 ball. Look how this ended up. Snookered on the 3, but he finds a 3-9 combination going back the other way. That's some good skills there. Ball down. And there is a shot on the 2. Another long shot, so a bit of a tester for Skowerski.
Tell you what, the gentleman on the left there we just seen in the audience, he's living and dying every shot. He was in Skowerski's opening match, and nothing's changed in his second. Powerless, of course, just watching on, hoping. But the signs are positive.
Boy, he's showing some very good potting skills. He certainly looks a lot steadier than he did in his first match against Wang Kan. That was nicely done. Brought it all the way back up table for the 3. He's left angle so he can maneuver the cue ball for the pink 4.
We made this point in his first round contest. Nothing flash. He wasn't efficient on many occasions against Wang Kan, but I think that was an aberration. Normally, you see him very level-headed. One of those players who produces a consistent level of performance, and anyone who comes up against him, they know they have to play well to win. When he won the title in 2012 in his hometown, in every match he played, he was the underdog, but you would never have guessed it. Certainly the underdog until you reach the final, that is.
As you said, that same year, he and Matusz Nagatsky, the fellow he beat in the final in Poland in this very tournament, got runner-up in the World Cup of Pool. So he is no stranger to the big time. He knows what it takes to play under the stage lights. He makes the 9 ball. Karol Skowerski in command. 4-1, he leads over Daniele Corrieri. Welcome back to this opening quarterfinal featuring Karol Skowerski and Daniele Corrieri. The man from Poland has dominated the early stages, taking a lead of 4-1 as we pick up the action at the start of the 6th.
Now then, the 1 in clearly on the 2. Looking good again. You're right, Ted. I think the old spark from 2 years ago is being rekindled as we're looking on.
This is a very workmanlike performance here. Walks over to put some powder on his cue for smoother cueing.
Yes, let me assure you that the outside temperature here in Nottingham is not tropical. Indoors, though, it's quite warm under the TV lights. Yes, it's the kind of night here where if Robin Hood was still around, he would need Maid Marian to keep him warm.
Boy, this is just solid 9-ball. You hit the nail on the head, Bill. Nothing flashy. He's not daring. He's not reckless. There's Granite Mark Gray. The big win over Mika Immonen in his first round match.
Yes, and he'll need a bigger win next time out. He's playing Shane Van Boning. But when you get a scalp like Immonen under your belt, Immonen, one of the best players on the planet, can only do wonders for your self-belief. And self-belief is not a problem for Skowerski at the moment. This is going swimmingly. 5-1. The Polish flag flying high.
I've seen players who go through very tough matches and are on the verge of losing. One ball away from losing and their opponent chokes, misses a 9-ball. They come back to win the rack, win the match, and win the tournament. And you look back and you say they were a thread away from being eliminated. Happens all the time.
In terms of the smooth progress, though, all good things come to an end. And there, the break is dry. Yes, in the first round against Wang Kan, Skowerski led 5-3, was pegged back to 5-5, then won the closing 3 racks for an 8-5 victory. Nothing about it was especially convincing. This has been, though, so far.
That is not going to help the cause of Daniele Corrieri. Nothing going right for the Italian. It's left a tough one.
Well, there's clearly a gap. The one ball can be potted here. Position, of course, on the two requires a high tariff shot. And with limited quality table time of late, that lady's husband has got his work cut out.
It's Morella Corrieri. Two have a 2.5-year-old daughter. They live in Rome, Italy. He is just out of it in this match. He is not even getting close. That's like 4 shots so far in which he's missed by a wide margin.
Time running low on the clock, so nothing extravagant from Skowerski, but it was efficient.
Well, he needs to make something happen. Mentally, he's just not in this match. That's not what it's going to take right there. He leaves the 1 ball open. The 2 ball is there. It's looking dark days for Corrieri.
And if Niels Fine's watching this, he'll be saying to himself, why didn't he play like this against me? In fairness, though, it wasn't the best performance from Fine, who was the architect of his own downfall in a lot of respects. Hampered queuing now.
Yes, and he can't see the whole ball. Just to jack up the cue a bit. This is not what most players want to do. And indeed, he misses it.
And having done so, he can count himself very fortunate that cue ball and object ball have virtually come to rest against each other. And that's the kind of break you get, Ted, when you're 5-1 down and you've missed a few.
Well, yeah, when you've been shooting like he has, you're not going to get any breaks. You have to make your own breaks. Again, we often talk about that, how the balls seem to have a mind of their own. Now, with that scratch, the 3 ball just cozied right up to the 6. But he's got a bit of a gap here, so he can get this.
Yes, distant top right pocket, the target. Now can Corrieri bounce back? You get the feeling this could be his last hurrah if he doesn't make the most of this. The signs are ominous.
Absolutely. Well, he should have no problem running out from this position. Nothing's coming easy for Daniele Corrieri, but he will get this to make it 5-2. And who knows, will he finally get some breaks, be able to string a few together?
The big question here at the Portland Centre, can Corrieri fight back?
Very few bright spots for Corrieri in this match so far. The last rack, one of them.
And this is as well. Look at the 2-ball perched over the pocket, the 3 in the open. I'll tell you what, you won't get a better chance of a break and run out than this.
It's just a matter of executing it. And when you've struggled, there are no guarantees even with an open table.
You looked at the table, you always thought the 3 to 4 positional shot would be a crunch.
This is...
Okay.
Yeah. Very good speed. Just a little more, that would have been a tough pot. Well, with the balls spread out like this, 5 balls, there's no hurry. This is a chance for him to establish a bit of rhythm. Something he hasn't been able to do all match. Get the cueing arm loose. Just in the nick of time for Daniele Corrieri, a break and run. And if he can continue to shoot like he did in that previous rack and combine that with a little bit of overdue luck, he'll quickly find himself back in this match. Except one thing. You have to make a ball on the break.
And look how they've split. The 1 is on, 2 out on its own, so too the 3. Enticing prospect for Skowerski. just caught the tiniest portion of that jaw, and I think that slowed the cue ball down almost imperceptibly.
He can still get this too. He's got a bit of work left in this rack, and he needs to come through here, because if he doesn't, I think you will see the momentum change.
Have to concur with that, Ted. This, for me, the most important rack of the match so far. If he can stave off that mini revival from Corrieri, Skowerski will be feeling very good indeed.
Fine extension.
And you get the feeling the rack hangs on this shot. The pot itself should be no problem whatsoever, but position, that's a different matter. Needs a good kiss here.
I think he's going to get it. Very fortunate. Still with some work to do.
Using as much of the pocket as he possibly could there. The wider the angle, the more he could get the cue ball into mid-table for the easy green 6 ball.
He's looking good here. Big confidence booster. And with this 9 ball, he will move one step closer to a spot in the semifinals. 6-3 in favor of Karol Skowerski. Race to 8. He'll be breaking.
Welcome back to the World Pool Masters and the opening quarterfinal featuring Karol Skowerski and Daniele Corrieri. The man from Poland leads 6-3 as we pick up the action at the start of the 10th rack.
He's got a ball down. He didn't get the 1 ball down. That's the one they're always looking for. Unfortunately for him, no clear shot at a pocket.
That is both accurate and true, but the way they are, I'd be very surprised indeed after this if Corrieri could see the 1 ball. An expansive zone.
Oh, look at that. He goes for the bank.
Two in one shot there, of course. Had he missed the bank, more than likely the 1 ball would have been covered up anyway. made logical sense.
Shot to nowhere, as they say in pool, because the result would have worked in his favor either way. So now he has to negotiate this tricky 2-ball. Oh, he got it. Some nice cueing by Karol Skowerski. Well thought out here so far.
And without wishing to jump ahead of ourselves, preempt things, this has been a quantum leap in terms of quality from his first round performance, Ted.
He literally limped over the finish line, even though he won 8-5, but it wasn't pretty in his first round match. And if he does go on to win, I think he's going to take a lot of confidence with him. He's working very hard. He's making intelligent choices.
The winner will play either Alex Pagulayan of Canada or Nikos Economopoulos from Greece. And I know at the start of the contest, Economopoulos was in the audience. You will be impressed with what he's seen.
That was well played. He pushed out the 6. After potting the 4-ball, rather the 5-ball. They're excited.
Now that was just a little heavy-handed. The 8-ball should not be any kind of worry, but under this kind of pressure, balls can be missed. We've seen it time and time again.
Right in the heart of the pocket.
And now Karol Skowerski leads Daniele Corrieri 7-3. It means a possible 5 racks left. Corrieri has to win every single one of them. No more margin of error. The bank on the 1-ball was beautifully struck. Then with the cue ball tight under the side cushion, Skowerski did really well to chip in the 2.
Phil, some excellent potting in that rack from Karol Skowerski. So what he's got to be feeling good about, as the match progresses, he's actually getting better. Whereas in his first match, he was getting worse and worse as he went along, and he was a bit lucky to emerge victorious. Well, there's a ball down. And we're looking at a safe on the 1-ball.
(7-3) might seem commanding, and it is, but Skowerski will be keen to kill this off as quickly as possible.
Well, he'll be happy with that. Imagine we'll see a jump shot.
Time extension.
Indeed, the big fella goes back and gets the short stick. That is not going to work out. That was hit and pray.
Thin snick on the 1. 2 in the open, so too the 3. Corrieri might have played his last shot in this Party Poker Whirlpool Masters of 2014.
He has elevated his game as he has gone along here. He repelled a brief fight back from Corrieri.
His potting has been sharp. I've been impressed with his positional play. He's had a couple of rubs here and there. One has to throw that into the ether. But generally speaking, if he wins 8-3, it's fully deserved.
And most players are going to have their rough spots in a match. It's par for the course in 9-ball. I think he's going to be taking a lot of confidence into the semifinals if he can get through this rack right here.
I think his 2 friends we saw in the audience there are a little bit more fidgety than he is. 4 balls away from the last 4.
Nicely played. He's feeling it now. His performance against Wang Can, a distant memory.
And he's put down a marker here. He's saying, listen lads, I've won this before. I can do it again.
This is the way you do it. You get the bad stuff out early. You gather yourself, you get it together, you come back and you put in a solid performance like this. Daniele Corrieri concedes. Karol Skowerski, our first semi-finalist at the Party Poker Whirlpool Masters.
I played well, I broke well, made a couple of shots under pressure. I have a similar feeling to compare 2 years ago in Kielce. So I enjoyed the game. I was focused only pot the balls, and that is received for the winning, I think, and I hope that will be good honor for me.
Confirmation of our first semi-finalist. It's the 2012 champion Karol Skowerski. He'll be a keen spectator at our next quarterfinal featuring Nikos Economopoulos and Alex Pagulayan. There's the mouth-watering clash between Melling and Boyce to contemplate, while Shane Van Boning will play Mark Gray. One Englishman guaranteed in the semis, but on the form so far very little is certain. Coming next is the appearance of Mosconi Cup star Nikos Economopoulos against a former Masters champion and former world champion Alex Pagulayan. The man from the Philippines, who now plays out of Canada, is searching for a second title following on from his success in 2008. But the man from Greece has already destroyed the Masters dream of Torsten Homan. Will he do the same to Pagulayan in the second quarterfinal of the Party Poker World Pool Masters?